Okay, in the last lesson I taught you guys how to find the slope of a line. A person could find a line's slope if they know any 2 points, which we saw in the graph yesterday. That's when we labeled it 1, 2, and then did the rise over run. Now, today we're going to be doing without the graph. Now, calculate the slope of the lines with the given points 4, 2, and 6, 8. Now, just watch a second. Now, I'm going to apply that to the graph. Obviously, you don't have graph paper, so 4, 2, 6, 8. So this is X, this is the positive, this is a negative, and this is Y, positive, negative. Okay, so 4, 2, so I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, positive 4 on the X, 2 on the Y. 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Alright, then if I made the line, I'd take a ruler. And using what we did yesterday, I can easily measure that slope. Okay? So this is the left side. This point's closest to the left, so that's point 1, and then followed by this point, point 2. So it's rise over run. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's your rise. And then forward 2, 1, 2. Okay, so 6 over 2. Oops, 2. So 6 over 2 on your multiplication table, those are both in the second row, so they could be divided by 2, and the slope is 3 over 1. Now, the issue today is how can we get that without the graph? Well, you can use a ratio, change in Y units over the change in X units, okay, because the Y is the up, down, okay, and then for the rise, and then the X is across, that's your run. So Y minus Y, X minus X is my M, which is my slope, okay. Why they call it M, I have no idea why they picked that letter. Okay, calculate the slope of the lines with the given points 4, 2, and 6, 8. There's a technique to it. So you go X, Y, X, Y. And then I'm going to come over here, or actually I'll go under it, and I'm going to write Y minus Y, X minus X. I'm going to write that for all these problems. Now you make your ratio, you set up your minus and minus. Okay, that's what you should first do. Now we got to decide which one we should start with, which parentheses, which coordinate we should start with. Now, I'm going to circle my x's. You want to start with the coordinate that has the higher x. So 4 and 6, 6 is higher. So that's my starter, okay? So 8 goes on top because y is on top always, and then 6 on bottom. And then that's done, okay? Now after the minuses, 2 goes on top, 4 goes on bottom. Now you can minus them if you want to make them plus negative, that's fine, I guess. Okay. So 8 plus negative 2 is 6. 6 plus negative 4 is 2. And now you just look at your multiplication table, you find those both in the second row, so we divide them down by 2, okay? And we get 3 over 1. 3 over 1 equals M, okay? Put equals M after your answer. Okay, my next problem, negative 3, 0, okay, and 2, negative 5. So these are coordinate points. So X, Y, so that would be left 3 and then right on the line, and then 2, 5. That'd be forward 2, down 5, okay? Okay, so Y minus Y, X minus X. Okay, now first I compare my x's, okay, negative 3 and 2. Well, 2 is the higher value for the x's, so that's your starting point. So before the minuses, we go negative 5 on top and positive 2 on bottom. Then we come over to the other point. After the minuses, 0 goes on top, negative 3 on bottom. I guess you can put plus negative 0 if you want. Now if you have minus and then followed by a negative, that goes plus plus. So negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, if you end up with identical number, well, they're not identical, but if you end up with like 5 and 5, you divide them down by 5. Okay, you don't need to use your multiplication table. If you get 3 over 3, you divide them both by 3. Okay, so negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1, and then 5 divided by 5 is 1. So m equals negative 1 over 1. That would be the slope of that line. Y minus y, x minus x. Now, compare the x's. Negative 5, negative 8. Now, negative 5 is bigger than, has a higher value than negative 8. So now my starting point's right there. That's your start. So 3 on top and negative 5 under it. Then after the minuses, we go to the other point. 10 on top, negative 8 on bottom. So plus negative, and then plus plus. Okay, 3 plus negative 10 is negative 7, and then negative 5 plus 8 is 3. Now if you look up these numbers on a multiplication table, 3 and 7 are only in the first row. So I don't need to divide by 1 because that would be the same thing. So negative 7 over 3 equals m. Okay, xy, xy. So y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so compare your x's. I have a 9 and a 0. So 9's obviously higher, so that's your start point. Okay, because that point, the reason why, yeah, that's your start point. So you're going to go 4 over 9. Then after the minuses, you're going to put 1 over 0. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 9 minus 0 is 9. Now look up 3 over 9 on a multiplication table. They'd both be in the third row. So it's 1/3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 1/3 equals m. Okay, xy, xy. Now if I look at my x coordinates and compare those are both equal. Okay, they are both equal. So it doesn't matter where we start. I'll just start at the first one then. So 5 over negative 2, and then 10 over negative 2. So that's plus negative, that's plus plus. So 5 plus negative 10 is negative 5. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Okay, you got a 0. When you get a 0, you're going to go to your calculator. Okay? You're going to take negative 5 divided by 0. And you get this message, it says error. When you get that error message, undefined is how you answer that problem. Undefined equals m. So you actually divide the top by the bottom if you get a 0. Okay? That means the line looks like this, okay, on a graph. Now don't write this, but so negative 2, 5. So I go backwards 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 2, 10. I go backwards 2 and then 10 somewhere up there. And that's what the line looks like. So you really can't measure the slope because, I mean, it doesn't go forward at all. It just goes straight up and down. Okay, back side. 6, negative 4, 4, negative 4. So xy, xy. So y minus y, x minus x. So when I'm comparing the x's, 6 is higher than 4. So that's a start. That's your starting point. So in front of the minuses, negative 4 goes over 6. Because the y goes over the x. Then negative 4 goes over 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. Now you're not going to, again, take your calculator and divide 0 by 2. You didn't get the error message, you got 0. Okay? There's a difference between undefined and 0. You just take your calculator and divide it. Now here's what this looks like. So 6, negative 4. So that'd be forward 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 negative 4 is forward 4. And that's a line that just goes straight across, okay? It doesn't go up and down. So that's an example of an undefined slope. This is an example of a slope of 0, okay? When you get a 0, just divide on your calculator and you'll know what to put down, okay? xy, xy. So y minus y, x minus x. Okay, so compare your x's, 1 and 7. Well, this is obviously higher, so it's 7 over 7, okay? And then we put this after 2 over 1. So you can either minus it, it'd be 5 over 6, okay? Or you can go plus negative if you want. 5 and 6 are only in the first row, so that's already in simplest form. Okay? Y minus y, x minus x. So when I compare x's, I have 3 and negative 5. So 3 is higher than negative 5. So I start with that. So 4 on top, 3 on bottom. Then 0 over negative 5. So 4 minus 0 is 4. Plus plus, 3 plus 5 is 8. Now, these are both in the second row, but further down the chart, they're in the fourth row. So you want to divide by the greatest amount possible. So you divide by 4. So that'd be 1/2 equals m. Okay, xy, xy. Set up your minuses before you just start putting things in, okay? Alright, so I got a 3 and a negative 5, so again, like the last problem, 3 is higher, so that's your starter point, 1 over 3. Then 3 over negative 5. Plus negative, plus plus, so it'd be negative 2 over 8. And you look those up, they're both in the second row. So it's negative 1/4. Negative stays, it's still negative. Okay, xy, xy. So if I compare negative 5 to 1, okay, 1's the higher value, that's the starter point. Whatever that is, the higher x, so negative 2 over 1. After the minuses, we're going to put negative 4 over negative 5, so plus plus, plus plus. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 and 6 are both in the second row. Okay, so 1/3 equals m. Okay, next point, xy, xy. Okay, so I compare the x's. Negative 2 is higher value than negative 6. Okay, so negative 2 over negative 2, and then negative 6 over negative 6. So negative 2 minus negative 6, that's the same as negative 2 plus 6, and the same here. So we get 4 over 4. Now again, when you end up with the same identical number, you divide by that number to reduce it and put it the slope in simplest form. 1 over 1 equals m. Okay. Okay, pause the video and do those 8 problems. Okay. And then come back to me. Okay, now in the next video, next part, we're gonna learn what we did. We're gonna apply this to real life. Water is drained from a pool. After 5 minutes of draining, the water holds 800 gallons. After 12 minutes of draining, the water holds 450 gallons of water. Calculate the average rate of change in gallons per minute of the water that the pool holds. So we're finding the gallons per minute. So you want to set up a table here, an XY table. Now your two labels are minutes and gallons. Underline those yourself, they're right there. So X is minutes, that's your time, and Y is gallons. So I put 0 and then I block it. I'm not coming back up there. I don't need to know that. Okay, later I will, but not here. Then 5 minutes, 800 gallons. Those go together. Then 12 minutes is with 450 gallons. Now we make those into coordinates. You can see x, y, and then x, y. Those go together, okay? And we are going to use our y minus y, x minus x to figure this out, okay? So what would I start with? Well, compare your x's. You have 5 and 12, okay? Well, 12's higher than 5, so that's your starting point. So 450 over 12. Then after the minuses, we put 800 over 5. 450 plus negative 800 is negative 350. 12 plus negative 5 is 7. Now don't use a multiplication chart on a story problem. You just divide it, okay? Negative 50. And that's your answer. Negative 50 gallons per minute. Now that's your answer. Don't write this next thing. That means in the 13th minute we'd add negative 50, okay? And that's 400. In the 14th minute we'd add negative 50 again. That's 350, okay? 15th, it could be 300, and it goes on and on and on. You just need to get me that answer. Okay, an internet service provider charges a one-time installation amount and a cost for each month. After 5 months of installation, a user will have paid $220, which includes the installation amount. After 10 months of installation, user will have paid $370, which includes the installation amount. Find the average rate of change in cost per month. Okay, so X, Y. Now you got months and money, okay? So months, that's your time unit, and then money is there. Time's always X. So 0 block off. I'm not going to fill that in, okay? Then 5 months goes with $220. And then later, 10 months goes with $370. So X, Y, and then I apply my y minus y over x minus x. Okay, I'm comparing my x's 5 and 10, okay? 10's higher, okay? So this is my starting point. So 370 goes over 10, y over x. And then 220 goes over 5. So it's 150 over 5. You can make them plus negative. Then you just divide on a story problem. I got 50, or 150 divided by 5. Got 30. So the cost per month is $30, okay? That means, again, if I had an 11 month, I'd add 30, 400. 12th month, add 30. That would be 430, and so forth, okay?